5 years ago, I made a video on YouTube talking about whether the two bitterest of enemies could coexist. The story of AFC Wimbledon is now a well-known one, thanks to press covering the club's ascent from non-league to League One. That's where we currently find ourselves today. A combination of lucky draws and gutsy displays against Premiership opponents in the FA Cup, and being labelled as a Phoenix club that doesn't know what quitting means. AFC Wimbledon is looked upon with a great deal of admiration and respect by fans of clubs worldwide. But what of Milton Keynes? Will they forever have that black mark next to their name as being a franchise side? And if they can shun the label of one of the world's most hated clubs, just how will they do it? It's been 5 years since we last asked these questions, and it's about time to see if anything has changed. Okay, first of all, we are going to talk about the history of the clubs. We're not. We're not going to talk about the history of the clubs. We know it. Neither side is particularly happy or proud about it. We're going to move on from this bit fairly quickly. Since my first video, AFC Wimbledon has played Milton Keynes a further 6 times in both Cup and League competition. Of the 6 games, AFC Wimbledon claimed victory twice against MK, once in the John Stones Paint Trophy and once in League One. The 3 losses gave MK fans a chance to gloat, but a goalless draw in 2018 did little to help an MK side who saw managers come and go in a season that ultimately saw the club relegated to League Two. With AFC Wimbledon managing to stay up thanks to some incredible displays in the final month of the season, Wimbledon fans felt a small sense of justice after what happened to their club. With a move away from Kingsmeadow and back to Merton on the cards, and a League One place for at least another year, you can't really blame AFC Wimbledon going into a new season with a certain degree of optimism. Now, while I'll be the first person to acknowledge that AFC Wimbledon can't really call Plough Lane home since they haven't played there, I will defend the argument that the fans have a spiritual connection to the area, which does make it feel like a homecoming. I often read messages from fans on social media that watched Wimbledon at Plough Lane and then Selhurst Park and now Kingsmeadow, and the excitement and pride that they show is truly inspiring. While I'm a little bit giddy myself, I will admit, at the prospect of having our own home, our new ground, I am so pleased that our veteran fan base will see a team named Wimbledon playing in blue and yellow back in Merton on Plough Lane. Whilst AFC Wimbledon fans are feeling positive about heading into the new season, MK fans are recovering from what many describe on social media as a clusterfuck. Carl Robinson, who managed the club since 2010, left by mutual consent in 2016, having racked up a 42% win percentage over his 6-year stint with the club. He was then replaced by Robbie Nielsen, who lasted 3 years at the helm before leaving Stadium MK to be replaced by Dan Mishi, who lasted only 16 games, winning 3, drawing 3 and losing 10. Paul Tisdale is now in a dugout for MK as they start life in League 2, hoping for an automatic bounce back to League 1. But it hasn't been all doom and gloom for Milton Keynes. A huge win against Manchester United in the Football League Cup, as well as a respected youth academy that's produced one of the best English midfielders in the past few years in Dele Alli. Now, with all that said and done, this is the big question we're actually here to ask. Can we coexist? The first time I asked this question, it was met with some mixed reviews. Some liked the fact that I didn't make a video completely destroying MK, while some thought it was unacceptable that I even suggested that we could try and get past what happened. This resulted in, sadly, a number of AFC Wimbledon fans, my fans who I would consider my own team, the guys that I would stand next to in the stands, sending me messages that are suggesting that I kill myself and making other ridiculous threats. But despite this, I realise that those are people in the minority who will all talk and no action. So let's get down to it. I believe that because we are shortly going to be moving to our own stadium back in the borough of Merton, we are now in a better position to once again ask for MK to drop the Dons from their name. Now, I know that MK fans are going to see this. People have told me that every now and then I have a video mentioned on the MK forums, and to quote one MK fan, he's not as much of a cunt as the rest, but he's still a cunt. So, thank you, I think. MK fans, I'm not trying to wind you up with this, so just hang fire before destroying me in the comments below. By MK dropping the Dons from the club's name and adopting a City, Rovers, Albion or a United, not only are we creating a divide from you, but you are also gaining a degree of separation from us. Let's face it, the media will never allow us to forget what happened. It's been brought up every time we play each other. I realise that MK will say the name is part of their history and something that is important to them, but is it a piece of history you want to actively display, given what happened? Winkleman, the chairman of the club and a key player in the move, has even come out and said publicly he wasn't proud of what happened and the way it went about. So why not try and get past it? The whole scenario might be strange for some outsiders, especially our American friends watching from across the pond, and that's because franchising is not something that happens over here. In England, it just isn't. A football club is part of the community where it was built and where it's played in. The club gives the community its identity and vice versa. Football teams don't just pick up and move to a new city when crowd attendance starts to fall and a new town or a new city offer to buy them a new stadium, for example. What happens is this: a club gets relegated to a lower league. And one day, should the worst happen, and they've fallen as far down the leagues as possible, the clubs stop existing, and it dies. That's the way it should be. There's nothing fair or happy about it, but that's the way the game is played. That's what many fans would have preferred to happen, than shed its identity and just become this laughingstock that it is today in its current Milton Keynes form. Now, MK, you don't like being associated with us, and we don't like being associated with you. That's the nice way of going about it, I guess. Both clubs want to move on, and this is one of the main sticking points that's preventing us from doing so, I think. We are soon to return to Plough Lane and to a stadium that is now truly our own, that is built for us in what many people can see to be the borough that we should be in. We want to start a new chapter for our club, and whilst I'm not asking anyone to forget or forgive what happened, this could be a step forward for both our clubs. With AFC Wimbledon playing in a league above MK, I think it would do the rivalry a world of good. After seeing MK in a league place which many people, including myself, believe that it didn't belong to them for so many years, and having the knowledge that the little club that took tryouts on a public park rose up the ranks and overtook MK, will give many AFC fans a sense of justice and relief, even if it is just for one season. We are now closer than ever to starting a new chapter in what I hope to be a glorious history of AFC Wimbledon. MK are playing in a lower league, and we're about to move into a new stadium in Merton. So right now has never been a better time for Milton Keynes to drop the Dons. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not as long as previous videos I've made about the subject. Thank you for watching it in its entirety, if you have done so. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm not trying to take a position here sitting on the fence. I am an AFC Wimbledon fan, therefore we know how I feel about it, but I've had to kind of look at both sides here as much as I could, so I'm interested to see what you think. So comments below, please. AFC Wimbledon and MK, please let me know. Do you want to get rid of the Dons, MK fans? I know obviously we want to, but do you want that degree of separation from us? We don't like being reminded about MK. I'm sure MK don't really want to be reminded about AFC Wimbledon. So let me know in the comments below. I'd be really interested to actually find out what you guys think. Someone approached me a little while ago asking if I'd be happy to moderate or possibly sit down and be one half of a discussion that was had between two fans from each side. Something that I would love to do, I think. Something I would be very interested in. But that's all for now. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed it. Maybe we'll come back in another 5 years and we'll investigate this again. But for now, I've been the game in one ball. So long for now, folks.
Well, they played very well when they had the ball, which wasn't that often. But they played even better when they didn't have the ball to stop the opposition.
Yeah, that's right. When back when they did have it, they used it extremely well and clinical in the end.
Some final thoughts on one of the better performers today, Alan.
got himself a goal and put in a really good shift. Excellent performance.